Hey guys, okay, well, here's a Saturday update. We are working on the Harrow up here at Telephone 2. Apologize for the noise. But what we're doing is, this was the trap where we let the cows hang out during calving season. It's a relatively small place, but they had plenty of water, shade, and everything around this pool. Well, the problem is, as you can see, the hay and everything and the manure is all busted up and it's all around here, so it's hard to grow grass when you have these big spots of hay rings and stuff like this. You can see a lot of the cow patties have flattened down after the last rain. But what I'm going to do is come in here and drag this thing, and we're going to try to just ride over it, bust some stuff up, and see what it looks like afterwards. But you can see this area up here. Look at it, it looks pretty rough. A lot of manure in one area, but the good news is that's a lot of carbon, as Greg Judy would tell you. Greg Judy highly recommends putting hay out on the ground because he thinks it gives nutrients back into the soil, helps spread the seeds. So you can see what I'm gonna do right here is I'm coming through and we're just busting this up because the cows have been in here. We've been feeding on top of one another for some time. And the ground just gets packed. It's very compact, just a lot going on. So we're just gonna ride around today and we're gonna bust stuff up. You can see all of the cow patties out here that have flattened out with some of the rain, but if we come through and hit them like this, they'll dissolve even more. Just great nutrients goes back into the soil, and then hopefully this little area or this little pasture can recuperate and we can give it a rest. We're about to move them over to greener pastures. The ryegrass is finally kicking in up on the hill, you can see, and we're going to get them over there. But right now, we're going to basically scratch the soil, aerate the soil, bust up these hay clods, all the manure, spread it out, and hopefully make this place a little bit more fertile. More to follow. Okay, here's an example of where we're actually coming through, and we're doing pretty good. You can see how we're busting this up. You can see behind me, just dragging the hay and spreading it out. Instead of having it 1 foot thick in a certain area, we're going to come back and we're just going to spread it out almost like mulch on the ground. And yeah, we pick up a few things along the way as you go, but you can also see, like, here's one area right up here that looks pretty bad. We're just going to keep coming through and we'll just keep working it and working it. Apologize for how rough it is. Kind of see what the Harrow is doing. It's you got a little clump of hay stuck there, but as soon as we hit a bump, that'll pretty much come off here just any second, or it'll roll over, and we just keep working this area. You can see we still got a lot of mulch from the power line company that was left over also, so we're going to hit this. This will help spread out the mulch that's here. I may have to stop here in a second and get that one clump off. It doesn't seem to want to break up. But hey, on a positive note, look at my ryegrass over here. The ryegrass is looking pretty good. We're keeping the cattle off of that, saving that, letting it get a little taller, and then we'll put them in here in a couple of weeks. Hopefully it'll be 10 inches tall, and we'll get some use out of it. That's the plan anyway. All right, guys, more to follow. Harrow work. What we're looking at right here is a little bit of drone footage from Telephone 2, and this is where we're actually working with the New Holland 5060 tractor, and we're pulling a homemade Harrow, which is basically a metal frame that has railroad spikes welded to it, and we drag it behind the tractor with a chain, and what it does is it actually puts grooves in the ground about 4 inches, 3 to 4 inches, or depending on how hard the soil is or how dry it is. If it's really dry, it may only be an inch deep. If it's really wet, it could be 3 to 4 inches. And you can see from this video footage, you can see I've made about 3 or 4 passes around the pool, and you can see the area where I have not been. And you can see all of the cow patties that have been broken up previously just from the rain. And when we drag this Harrow over the top, it actually just disintegrates them, spreads them out, and it's also pulling the hay from where we were feeding the round bales, and it's spreading that hay out also, and just giving the ground a good opportunity to breathe. Basically, it's like aerating the land. We're taking the cow patties
And in essence, instead of being in 1 square foot area, we're busting them up and spreading them out over 3, 4, 5 feet of area. And it's just a process. And but the drone footage really does a good job of showing what the land looks like where I have been and where I have not been. And once again, we kept the cows in this little area just to make it easy for calving, make it easy for feeding during the winter period. And now we need to get this little paddock ready to go, get it ready in time for spring so the grass can start growing. On the horizon, you can see all of the ryegrass that we planted that is just now really starting to take off. So things are really shaping up. Spring is in the air, and you can kind of see the footage that we're doing here. So, you know, busting cow patties, spreading poo, whatever you want to call it, we're doing some good. And the drone footage is a great example of you can actually see firsthand what's going on here. And you know, it's also kind of fun work to do. I mean, if you like driving a tractor, there's definitely harder, worse things to do, but the temperature was very nice. So see in this view right here, you can see how it's putting basically slits and grooves into the soil. It's almost like a subsoil tiller, or you'll see those pulled sometime behind a tractor. And this does a good job. You can actually put more weight on this if you wanted to guarantee you were getting a deep cut. But in this case, it was all about speed. It's all about just busting up the cow manure, the cow patties, spreading it out, and also just breaking up where the hay was. You can see the circles on the horizon there in that picture. And those circles are where we had the hay rings. And by going over this, it will spread them out, and hopefully we'll get some rain on it, and it will eliminate a lot of this problems. And it's just a great way to improve the land. You can also see the ryegrass on the horizon. We've been keeping the cows out of that because of, you know, we're using a hot wire or an electric fence to keep them out. And that's the process we're going through. So hope you enjoyed this, and we'll show you a little bit more here as we do a little tractor work. But here comes the new Holland 5060 again. And once again, just going on this perimeter pass. This is pretty much where we're gonna stop, is right where that little low spot is. And then we'll circle back and finish. But look at all the cow patties that you can see there in the forefront of this picture. And that's what we're going across. We're eliminating, busting up, and spreading the fertilizer, natural fertilizer, across the terrain. And I think this is just a great process. Really helps a lot. So now the drone is coming back to home. This is my beautiful wife, my CEO, CFO, my life partner, the salt of my earth. She is just incredible. She's really picked up this drone and started learning how to fly it. And matter of fact, she won't let me fly it out of fear that I'll crash it, but that's okay. We all need to stay in our lanes and make sure we take care of business. So anyway, watch this little landing. She comes down here. There's the Kubota 850 Sidekick, and watch what's going to happen here. Kimber, our dog, actually does not like the drone. So watch this. She's going to fly around here, and she's going to land the drone next to the Kubota, and you can see that Kimber is not happy about this at all. But hey, look at the ryegrass. All of that growth has just come up here in the last couple of days. But all right, check this out. Look at, there's Kimber. She doesn't know what to think about that drone. She's not sure. All right, guys. Hey, more to follow. Thanks.
Okay, guys. Well, now we're down at telephone 1, and we're actually harrowing the, I would call this the trap. This is also where we kept the cows pretty confined during calving season. You know, so it was easy to find the calves. We kept them out of the woods and let the majority of them calve in here. It was also easy to feed them, keep them close. And as Greg Judy would say, you know, they're depositing a lot of good carbon footprint on the ground behind them. You know, they're leaving behind cow patties. They're leaving behind hay. They're stomping it down in the ground. They're breaking it up. So now what are we doing? Well, we're coming back here. Spring is almost here. It's in the air. And so now we're going to take this harrow and we're dragging it around and spreading out this carbon material. You can see there's going to be a little substance on the ground to decompose. The ground has got to be broken up a little bit so that you can get air into it. And when it rains, the water helps break it up. The cow patties are fertilizer. But here's the thing with the cow patty. If you got them all stacked in one area, it actually won't help the soil in that one area. If you bust it up and spread it out, allow it to soak into the soil over a wider footprint, we're doing good. So we came through here, and basically we're going north to south and then east to west. So it'll take 2 passes over this little, I don't know if this is 3 acres or what it is. I'm going to guess probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 acres. So this is what we're doing at this little pen. Let me tell you what, I'm pretty amazed at how it's already starting to look better. I'm right in the middle of my second pass. All of this stuff is spreading out. I'm getting the hay that's on the ground, it's being spread, and you know, I think hopefully it'll help reseed, rejuvenate, and give the soil some moisture and a chance to actually do some stuff. So that's our little tank, our little pool. See, now look at this area, how it's all compacted. So I'm going to come in here and we're going to hit this. I'll turn around behind you so you can see what it's doing to it. So you can see it actually breaks it up pretty good. It drags the hay 6, 7, 8, 10 feet away from that little group and allows it to spread out. So kind of a boring job here today, but hey, we're driving back and forth, but we're spreading out good nutrition, giving this soil some food, and I think it's going to pay huge dividends, get it ready for next calving season next year. So thought I'd take just a second and share how the ryegrass is looking. It's okay. Sure wish it was coming in a little bit more, but it's getting pretty tall in some spots. Got a little color to it. It's supposed to get some rain tonight, so hopefully this is going to help out. So just a little update on the ryegrass at telephone 2.